Everybody, peace. Welcome to the Sorry to Bother You Basketball Show. Wherever or however you are listening, we're so grateful to have you with us. As you guys know, I'm your host, Sean Cottle. And listen, guys, we've got a wonderful show for you guys. We're going to be recapping some of the latest action from women's college basketball. The return of, in my opinion, the best point guard in women's college basketball right now. You could argue the best player in women's college basketball right now in Olivia Miles for Notre Dame. I'm going to be discussing her return and what that means for Notre Dame and their chances of winning a national title, as well as South Carolina and what are the chances they have of repeating as champions based on what we saw from their opening game against Michigan. So, guys, we're going to be discussing all of that and then some. But before we get started, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well so you guys can stay up to date on all of our latest content that we post daily. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/SorrytobotheryouLLC/tip. And if you'd like to gain exclusive content from the Sorry to Bother You Show, you can do so by going to patreon.com, clicking on the search bar, and typing in Sorry to Bother You Show. That way you can gain access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. We'll leave all the links in the description for you guys. So, guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? Like I said, listen, the return of in my opinion, the best point guard in women's college basketball in Olivia Miles, and you can argue, like I said, the best player overall in women's college basketball in Olivia Miles. We have to remember that Olivia Miles, as a freshman, was an All-American and is the only player in women's college basketball history and men's basketball history, college basketball history as well, to record a triple double as a freshman in the NCAA tournament. And we have to remember that before she tore her ACL towards the end of the 2022-2023 season, Notre Dame was poised and primed to make a run at the Final Four. And after she missed the entirety of the 23-24 season Olivia Miles did, and that was the freshman year for Hannah Hidalgo, who was also an All-American and many as touted as the next best player to come out of Notre Dame. And, because Hannah Hidalgo had garnered so much attention and had such a successful freshman year, people have forgotten about Olivia Miles and that she was sitting on the bench rehabbing, waiting for her turn. And now that Olivia Miles is back and healthy and they still have Hannah Hidalgo in that backcourt, the question now becomes what does this mean for Notre Dame? And listen, Notre Dame is a team that for the past couple of seasons, for the past 3 or 4 seasons under Neil Ivey, has struggled with staying healthy. And I do believe it's because they don't go particularly deep on their bench. They've always gone 7, maybe 8 at the most deep. Since Neil Ivey has been the head coach at Notre Dame, and that's just her coaching philosophy, it appears to be. But, you start putting that much pressure and wear and tear on your starters, they're bound to get injuries. We got to remember that Dara Mabry is another player who also tore her ACL the same season that Olivia Miles did. And Sonia Citron, another player for Notre Dame, has struggled with injuries throughout her career. Still is amazing. Actually on the All-American watch this season. Maddie Westbeld, who's also on the All-American watch, has had quite a few injuries over her career as well. And Kylie Watson, the starting center, who transferred from Oregon last season, she tore her ACL during the ACC tournament. These are all starters, players who have, had these injuries, and I do believe it's because the amount of wear and tear that they have due to playing such extended minutes, because they don't go that deep. And Notre Dame this season, I believe, is their best chance since Neil Ivey has been the head coach at Notre Dame to win a national championship. Like I said, they have Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles in that backcourt, coupled by Maddie Westbeld, who I believe is going to be a top 10 pick in the WNBA draft, and Sonia Citron, who I believe is going to be a top 5 pick in the WNBA draft. Uh, Also, KK Bransfield, who has been an integral piece for Notre Dame since she's been there. Um, Listen, this is the most talent I believe that Notre Dame has had in their starting five. Like I said, since Neil Ivey has been there, and you can argue that Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo make up for the best backcourt in women's college basketball. I mean, they complement each other so well. Both have the ability to play off the ball, Hannah and Olivia, and their their games complement each other. Hannah is more of a slasher and a scorer, while Olivia is can score, but she's more of a facilitator, playmaker. Has a bit more size as well, and both players can also shoot off the catch. Both players coming in to their collegiate career struggled shooting off the catch and playing off the ball, but both players have shown the ability to do that now, and they're going to have to. They're going to have to. Both of them, Olivia and Hannah, are going to have to know how to and learn how to play off the ball and be a threat off the catch, whether that be catching and ripping into your one dribble, two dribble pull up, or catching and shooting. Something that Notre Dame has struggled with for the past couple of years is their 3-point shooting and their consistency shooting the outside shot, and that's going to be one of the keys for Notre Dame this season and their ability to go deep into the NCAA tournament. Can they shoot that outside ball consistently, and can they limit turnovers? And I believe with Hannah and the return of Olivia Miles, like I said, coupled with Maddie Westfield and Sonia Citron, that's going to be big pieces for them. But far and above anything else, the biggest thing for them is staying healthy. And can they get healthy? We know that Maddie Westfield is going to miss the first couple of weeks of the season due to a foot injury. And, Sonia Citron and KK Bransfield did not play in the opening game against Mercyhurst. I'm not sure what their status is health-wise. Could be that Neil Ivey was just sitting them out. What I believe was going on, I don't have any confirmation on this, but just as a professional basketball player and someone who's been around the game, what I believe was going on is Neil Ivey was allowing space for Olivia Miles to get her game reps in, kind of get her wind back, as well as for her to get a little bit of chemistry with Hannah Hidalgo. Obviously, they've been practicing together during training camp and during the preseason, but you guys know that those practice reps are far different, much different than game reps, and I believe that Neil Ivey was allowing that space for Hannah and Olivia to get those reps together, get a feel for playing with each other under the lights without having to feed other players. And I believe that's the reason that Neil Ivey sat Sonia Citron and KK Bransfield, or at least had more incentive to. Because that's the biggest piece. Another big piece of Notre Dame is if Hannah and Olivia can create that chemistry together, and I believe that's what this game was about. Was about Olivia getting her legs back under her, getting her game wind back, as well as building that chemistry with Hannah. And like I said, the biggest thing for Notre Dame is being healthy, staying healthy. Can they stay healthy? And if they can, I do believe that Notre Dame will be a Final Four team. I mean, there's just too much talent in that starting five. Obviously, there's a little bit of cause for concern with their depth. They don't go very deep, but I just think there's just so much talent in that starting five. You could argue they have the most talented starting five in women's college basketball, even contending with South Carolina. But I'm definitely excited to see what Notre Dame can do over the course of this season. And let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Do you guys think that Notre Dame and Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo have what it takes to make a run at a national championship? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. But speaking of national champions in South Carolina, we're going to take a look at South Carolina and whether they have a legitimate chance of repeating as national champions. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You're not going to miss it. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed the previous segment of our show, we were discussing what the return of Olivia Miles means for Notre Dame and their chances of winning a national championship. And in this segment, guys, we're going to be discussing whether South Carolina has what it takes to repeat as national champions. For those of you who don't know, obviously South Carolina went undefeated last season on their way to a national championship, defeating Iowa in a national championship game. South Carolina is returning their entire starting five except for Camila Cardozo, who went number 3 overall. Sorry, number 7. 3 or number 7, if I'm wrong about that one, if you guys can correct me. In the WNBA draft to the Chicago Sky. And listen, based on what I saw last night or 2 nights ago for South Carolina in their opening game against Michigan, South Carolina is a talented team. Listen, they're still one of the best teams in the country. I do believe they're going to be the best team in the SEC. Is there cause for concern a little bit? One of the things that South Carolina did an excellent job of last year was shooting the three ball, obviously led by Tahina Papau. And the reason that players like Tahina Papau and Bree Hall and Tessa Johnson and Malaysia Wiley and even Raven Johnson, the reason those players were able to get open looks was because opposing teams would have to collapse their defense on Camila Cardozo every time she got the ball in the paint. Now, obviously, those kickouts led to easier scoring opportunities. But now that Camila's not there, you can tell that the guards have a little bit more pressure on them in the perimeter because there's not that opposing force for South Carolina that they've had in years past with Asia Wilson and Aaliyah Boston and Victoria Saxton and like I said, Camila Cardozo. Though Chloe Kitts, who, for those of you who don't remember or don't know, Chloe Kitts actually came into South Carolina a semester early. She graduated high school early, and she came into South Carolina during the middle of the 22-23 season, and from there she became a starter last season. Now she's one of the leaders on this team, and you can tell that she's put on some size, and she's continued to expand her game. She can put the ball on the floor, and she obviously works well in the low post. But you can tell that Chloe Kitts is going to get more touches this season. So obviously Chloe Kitts is a player for South Carolina who is going to get more touches and perhaps be going to have a larger impact on the offense. You can say. And obviously they still have a lot of talent coming off the bench as well, led by Malaysia Wiley, who I believe is going to be a huge talent. She's going to be a great player. She is a great player. And I say give her one more year. Her junior year, she's going to be extremely talented, and you can bank on it now that when she comes out of the draft, she's going to be considered one of the best prospects that the WNBA has ever seen, up there with I believe the Caitlin Clarks and the Paige Beckers, due to her athleticism and her ability to score off the dribble. But but like I said, coming off the bench, they still have Malaysia Wiley and Tessa Johnson and Joyce Edwards, the transfer. There's a lot of talent for South Carolina, and we got to remember that Ashlyn Watkins, who was an integral piece for the national championship team last year, also didn't play because she was suspended due to her off the court issues that she had going on. But now that the charges that she had against her were dropped, I believe that Ashlyn Watkins has now been reinstated by South Carolina, and obviously Ashlyn Watkins is the most athletic player on South Carolina. You could argue the most athletic player in women's college basketball. So having her back to be in the low post with Chloe Kitts and Sanaya Fagan as well. It's obviously going to bolster South Carolina in their in their inside presence, and it's going to make them better. But we gotta remember that during this game against Michigan, listen, Tina Paopao shot 4 of 10, Raven Johnson shot 0 for 8, and only had 2 points. I mean, you only get 11 points between your starting backcourt. That's never happened last year, and I doubt that's ever gonna happen again. I mean, Tina Paopao is probably gonna be a top 10 pick as well in the WNBA draft. So listen, South Carolina just didn't shoot the ball very well. And they gave up a lot of second chance points to Michigan. So if South Carolina, which this is normally not an issue for them rebounding, if they can shore up their ability to rebound and not give up as many offensive rebounds, I do believe South Carolina is going to be the best team in women's college basketball this year. But those are some things that need to be fixed. Like I said, their ability to score from the perimeter and not giving up as many offensive rebounds. But besides that, I think South Carolina is the best team in women's college basketball. Will they go undefeated? I'm not sure. I don't want to say that. It's too early for me to say that because there's so much talent in women's college basketball. And like I said last year, and I'm going to continue to say until it doesn't appear that way to me, but this is the best space that women's college basketball has been in since its inception. I said it last year. I'm going to say it this year as well. This is the best space that women's college basketball has been in terms of talent, in terms of depth. This is the best that women's college basketball has been, and I think it's only going to continue to improve. But this is all based on what I've seen for South Carolina, at least during their first match against Michigan. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. What do you guys think about what you saw from South Carolina during their opening game against Michigan? Is there any cause for concern, or do you guys think that South Carolina has a very good chance of running it back? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Leave your thoughts in the chat room. I'm looking to hearing all about it. With that being said, though, guys, listen, that's it for our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay updated on all the latest content that we post daily. None of this is possible without you guys are fans, so we're so grateful and honored for all the love and support that you guys continue to show us day in and day out. And if you'd like to get exclusive content from us over here at Sorry to Bother You, you can do so by going to patreon.com, clicking on the search bar, and typing in Sorry to Bother You Show. That way you can gain access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. We'll be back again, guys, same time tomorrow with our college football show as well as an NFL show. So with that being said, guys, continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions, and peace.